system.
You know, I'm beginning to notice a trend, you know, and it's always happening at the end of the year that somehow, some way, it may be a computer down, it may be the mic not being able to work, it may be something out of the ordinary causing something to happen on Saturday afternoon's main event. But for some reason, the one thing that remains constant is that we still find a way to go ahead and do the show. The fact of the matter is that, look, I've been doing this for the last 5 years of my life. And to say that we have had our compendium of technical difficulties, madness of what individuals now call CTB, all these different types of other things always try to alter. But the fact of the matter is that the same thing remains. You're sitting here watching me and preparing yourself to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome, welcome, welcome to the last episode of the year of the phenomenon known to mankind on God's green earth, a Saturday afternoon's main event. And if after 5 years you still do not know who in the blue hell I am, yes, guys, there's going to be less enthusiasm within this one because for some reason I had technical difficulties for the last 10 minutes, but I digress. Peeps, knock that down. But look, if you do not know who I am, I suggest you go back to school, go into your local library, and get the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, it is I, the phenomenal one. And I am not alone on this last episode of Same because I have my co-host, my brother from another mother and dimension. Guys, he is the one and only limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. So without further ado, please guys, put a warm welcome in. Give me 2 claps and a peep snake.
Woo! Yes, I can't believe we've done another year. This is the last episode of this year of 2025. We'll go out strong. That's what we'll do. And especially since today is a wrestling holiday, a wrestling weekend. Especially, we hope you enjoyed your Christmas and holidays and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and Festivus and all of the other joyous celebrations that you were able to do safely. And now that you've come here to kind of detox from all of that, you get to do that with the 3 tenets to have a great Saturday afternoon. And that is laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. Today on the last episode of 2025.
I agree. Well, welcome, peeps, welcome. But guys, that's not the only person we have on today's show. We have our other co-hosts. Guys, I always tell you one thing and one thing only. If you're looking for laughs when it comes to the sector of Saturday afternoon's main event, especially in the sense of dark humor, listen, all you got to do is take your cellular device and dial the numbers 411. Guys, put a warm welcome in for the returning, never omniscient, but definitely omnipotent, the one, the only host of Morton's Law, Mr. Christopher Morton, Mr. 411.
Yo, I know you met a belated Merry Christmas to everybody. By the way, do you think when Santa Claus, ho, 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 you think he's like pimping out like Mrs. Claus? I mean, is she turning tricks? I'm just curious. I don't know. I mean, what is he referring to? And Nate, before you were naming what? Kwanzaa and as Nate's naming Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, guess what I'm over here doing? What?
I can envision that too.
But it seems like the gang's all here. We're going to go ahead and give a shout out to, of course, Uncle Triple C, who is probably kicking back with his vodka or his Grey Goose or whatever he might be sitting there enjoying, watching, saying, yo, shout out to you, man. Hopefully we go ahead and see you within next year of Saturday afternoon's main event. But
wait,
guys,
he's celebrating. He sent this message before. He's celebrating the 4-week anniversary of the greatest mega 2-time Intercontinental AAA heavyweight champion of all time, Dominic Mysterio. So,
you know, I'll paraphrase it for you because I know he's probably sitting there like, where's the enthusiasm, Chris? So I'll go ahead and do you a bigger one. The greatest AAA Intercontinental Mega Heavyweight Campeon, my boy, Dominic Mysterio. What a champion. What a champion.
Wow, that was almost like a dead-on impression. You could close your eyes and thought it was him.
Yes.
Family ties. What can you say, right? But look, of course, like Peeps said, guys, it is a big wrestling week. There was a lot in store for us to go ahead and talk about today. So I guess we won't waste any time. But before we go ahead and do that, yo, guys, how was your Christmas?
Very good. Can't complain. Cooked, ate, watch a lot of sports. I'm not complaining.
The same thing you've been doing for 2,000 years. We get it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, Santa Claus didn't get him a haircut for Christmas? Come on now.
Grief. Maybe a turkey transplant. How about that, man?
Oh,
good grief. Just for men, Peeps. No, Bosley. How about that?
Oh,
bye.
There we go.
Good job, Dolomite.
But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this show on the rocks. You know, when you hear this sound, it's time for one thing and one thing only here on Same. It is time for 3-Rope Talk. So look, guys, when it comes down to everything that we have going on in the world of wrestling, we have one thing that sometimes remains constant within the last 20, 30 years. That's tape delays. Of course, SmackDown was on tape delay from last night's show. So unfortunately, I had individuals and friends that unfortunately gave me the news a week prior. But of course, I didn't spoil it for you, gentlemen. And neither did I spoil it for the fans. But the reality is certain because it is official. Carmelo Hayes. Melo didn't miss last night. He is now your new WWE United States champion. Definitely deserving, defeating Ilya Dragunov. It was a perfect stellar match. Those two gentlemen always know how to go ahead and put on banger matches.
Yes.
But, of course, it is now set in stone. Carmelo Hayes is finally a champion on the main roster. Chris, we'll start with you today, man, on the last Same of the Year. How did you feel seeing Carmelo win the title?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know who watches SmackDown Live because it's a chore. So I had to catch the highlights, of course, on YouTube. And listen, he's put in the work. The fans are starting to warm to him. I mean, clearly during the false finishes, they wanted it. They no denying that.
Indeed.
And the funny thing is, like, I know Dragunov had gone away. He was hurt, came back. They gave him the title. And then I don't know what, not to take away from what Carmelo Hayes did, but do you think it's just that he's that over right now they couldn't not put the title on him? Because I felt like Dragunov, has he lost steam? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Dragunov has not lost a single step. I think the entirety of this was to elevate the United States Championship by continuing to do this U.S. Open Challenge thing that they usually do. And they did it right, starting with Sami Zayn bringing it back, and then Dragunov winning and doing it as well. I'm pretty sure that Carmelo is going to do it. I think what we're seeing now is that Carmelo is now no longer Dolph Ziggler 2.0. He is now him. And I think that was the one thing that they needed to do, was to pull him away from the nonsense that they were doing with The Miz. The Miz, whatever association that they did, was dragging him down. And I am glad that they finally came to their senses and put Melo in the spot that he's in right now.
I agree. Now, look, with that being said, he opens up next year being a champion. Do we see a good year next year for Carmelo Hayes?
Well,
everything's looking up.
Here's the thing. I want to just call out the fans of WWE and wrestling in general. I mean, think about how this goes, right? The fans adopt a new favorite, right? They pop when they win the belt. Then they get sick of them. That happens, right? They get sick of them. It's like, they want a shiny new toy. I don't understand that with fans. Like, think about how quickly people...
In the words of Daniel Bryan, fans are fickle. You know, 1 minute they want something, the next minute to hell with them. I mean, look at how they look at Cody now. Straight up, it's like, oh, I can't stand to see him on my screen. When years prior, they actually accepted being Cody Crybabies. Daniel Bryan wins the WWE title a couple of months later. What is this run? I'm tired of seeing Daniel Bryan on my television screen.
Right. So my conclusion is this: in terms of saying how they want a shiny new toy, basically WWE fans are children or women, whichever one.
I agree. Funny enough, Corey Richmond says this. He says, "You don't think this just leads to the Miz again?" I feel that it does.
Dear God, no. Dear God.
I feel that it does down the line. Unfortunately, they're going to revisit this, especially since Carmelo now has the title. I would just I would just hope that this doesn't mean WrestleMania, because for me, my plans would be if you're gonna have Carmelo Hayes in a WrestleMania match, please let it be a ladder match for the IC title
against
Gargano.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Look, a 4 to 5 man ladder match. Genuinely.
Wait. Let's talk about who debuted last night, and let's tie them together based on their history. Trick Williams. We've been clamoring on this show for weeks now. Where's Trick? Why is he not on the main roster? Boom, pops up. He didn't show up on Raw, did he? Was he on Raw?
No.
I believe that he had been teasing that he was going to go on Raw and try and talk to the Raw GM, Adam Pearce, because he's kind of going back and forth about being a free agent. Yeah.
And that could happen, but he debuted on SmackDown where he has history with one man, and that's the man who just became champion. It makes sense. Time together, whether you want to have Trick be his friend at the beginning and then turn on him, there has to be a storyline in mind that ties these two together again.
Especially if you remember when Trick was TNA World Champion and Carmelo came to NXT a couple of months back and was basically reading Trick the Riot Act about, you're not me, you're not him. And although you may be TNA World Champ, you're not on the main roster. And that they can still play that in whenever they have some sort of confrontation. Whenever it happens, I think that's the card that they're going to play. And it works perfectly for the two involved because the history is there, the chemistry is there, and they've been interacting with each other for the better part of 3 years? So yeah, it will definitely work.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, and Trick ended up in the segment with Cody last night. I mean, think about it. You get Obafemi, you get Trick. All the guys are coming, right? That we talked about with the history.
Yes.
I agree. And I mean, pretty much, Javon Evans, even on top of that, even though, like, for me, I'm sitting there looking at it like, hey, he seems like he'd be a better fit on Raw. But if he hits SmackDown, I mean, imagine SmackDown going ahead and going from least watched show to most watched show with all of those men on that roster.
And the timing involved, because remember, starting next week, SmackDown goes to 3 hours again. So just remember, you got that.
Oh, Ricky Saints has to be around the corner. How is he not main roster ready?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Ethan Page is a phenomenal heel. I mean, he's got to be on the main roster at some point.
Yes.
Things might be looking up for WWE by next year with all these names possibly going to the main roster.
Yes.
But I guess all we have to do is just wait and see, right?
Yes, and they've done what they've done right by the NXT stars. The roster is a lot of them already. Some of the roster going to TNA gave them seasoning to be able to actually grow, so that when they're ready to come back onto WWE programming, they're already seasoned enough to go ahead and bring that out there. So yes, it's a growth form for the entire brand, while they start bringing the younger guys up that are on the NXT roster and give them some more exposure as well.
I agree. Well, guys, again, you heard it here on Saturday afternoon's main event. Carmelo Hayes is now U.S. champion, another main roster mid-card champion aside from the one that they have on Raw, and his name is Dominic Mysterio. You know, I just needed to do that again. But it's okay. It's okay. Look, from there, we're going to move on to the next phase here. We're going to move from the mid-card position to the main event. Let's talk 3 stages of hell, gentlemen. First one, literally within 2000s, early 2000s. Now, returning after the last one being in 2013 with John Cena facing Ryback. Now we're getting 3 stages of hell again. And this time, in this reiteration, we have Drew McIntyre going up against the champion, Cody Rhodes. I mean, first and foremost, what a promo from Drew last night. I have to say, amazing, off the top, great. Now, let's say this, because I've been gunning for this to happen for the last couple of months. Does Drew McIntyre walk out of Berlin and out of this match as WWE champion? Chris, we'll start with you.
He has to, and I know, and I'm afraid to say he won't, but he should. And it makes even more sense being overseas, not here in the States. And the crowd, I think the crowd is going to be so hot for him. You're going to think he's a babyface over there. And they're going to boo Cody. I believe that's going to happen. And it only makes sense. And we talk back to Vince having to make that call, right? Survivor Series 96 with Shawn and Sid, and how the crowd was so far behind Sid. Now, again, that's rumors. I don't know if that actually really happened or not, where Vince decided to put the title on Sid. But in this situation, if you're Triple H and you hear that crowd, and even if you don't have it planned, which, again, this day and age, everything is probably planned, right? You can't just go on a fly and go put the title on Drew now because of the crowd. But the title's got to go on Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.
And it definitely plays into the manic ideals behind him saying, I'm getting screwed by everybody and this has to happen. And the way he has been manipulating the situations when he gets his title shots have been masterful. So it's a matter of now finally letting it go through, because you're not going to get too many opportunities to take advantage of how hot Drew McIntyre is right now. And I think this is his best work as a heel over the last 2 years. His feud with Punk, this current feud now with Cody. He is right now, if he's not the best heel in the company right now, he's definitely in the top 3. And that is one of the reasons why, if they're going to pull the trigger, even if it's for a month, 2 months, whatever is the case, that's the perfect time to do it. And we've been clamoring for the longest time that Drew should have had the championship months ago.
Exactly.
Yo, the apology to the referee. Oh my God.
Yes.
And then what he said to him after.
Is it my apologies for the referee for being an idiot or being employed? He ran him down and his wife and everything else. I'm like, wow.
Talking about how the father is a coward.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was great.
Yes. Drew is gold on the mic now, especially within the last year or so. He's really coming to his own.
Yes. I agree. And like you said, Chris, it's only a matter of time before Drew McIntyre gets to hold the WWE title.
This is the time. I'm sorry to cut you. This is the time now.
Indeed.
Yes.
And even if it's a short run, it doesn't have to be a long run. I'm sorry.
I agree. That's what I was gonna say. It can go into the Rumble because, treading on what we know for the last couple of years, the Royal Rumble has been Cody's pay-per-view. He hasn't lost a match at the Rumble. He threw Gunther over the top rope. His first year back. Second year in, he goes ahead and wins back-to-back. This past year, he goes ahead and beats Kevin Owens in a ladder match. And, it's showing that it's treading that the Royal Rumble is his pay-per-view. Even if you have Drew hold it up until Saudi Arabia, fine, no problem. Let it be said. But I think that the title needs to change hands. And it's only fair if the Drew is the individual who takes it off Cody. So I agree on that. But from there, look, the 3 stages of hell match, it takes place within a couple of weeks. SmackDown, Berlin, Germany. Look, I can't wait to go ahead and see what happens. I'll definitely be one of those individuals watching in the afternoon instead of on tape delay at night. And look, let's see what happens. But all in all, let's move from SmackDown into Raw. Let's talk Punk and Gunther. Of course, Gunther being an individual who has retired legends, Goldberg being his first, John Cena being his most recent at Saturday night's main event. Look, when it comes down to this, he faced off with Punk on Raw this past week. We know the implications. We know what this may mean. Punk was the individual that took the title off Gunther. We know that. Gunther is back. He seems like he's better than ever, and it seems like he plays his heel antics well. With that being said, what do we see happening from this?
Well, I think it all factors into January 5th, right? Against Braun Breaker at Barclays. What happens in that match? Does Gunther interfere? Does he have a place in that match? Or do we just get the Vision interfere? Because I don't think anyone is going to win that match. I think we're getting a double disqualification or just one disqualification. I don't think anyone's going to take a pin in that match. Now, how does he factor into, as you mentioned earlier in our pre-show, the Royal Rumble? Could we get a three-way with Punk, Breaker, and Gunther down the road? I don't know. Nate, what do you think?
It makes sense. If anytime that we talk about a triple threat or a four-way, the one thing that we've said, even though we've criticized it as lazy booking, it's not lazy booking if it makes sense.
Right.
This is one of those opportunities where it would make sense because all three parties have something to gain from the situation, and going into the match, you would build onto the reasoning behind why they would be in it. And then you also have the ancillary stuff on the outside that would draw whoever to the match. We know that Heyman has something invested because of Braun Breaker. We know going into this match, Punk, he's got something to prove. He wants to get revenge against Heyman because of Seth Rollins and all of the things that have happened there. And we know that Walter, just because of who he is, he's got to prove to everybody that he's the best. And the fact that he is right now, unequivocally, the biggest heel in the company right now, he's getting the Dominic Mysterio treatment where he can't even finish a sentence. This is where building them in a triple threat match would definitely work. You were going to have the Royal Rumble in Saudi. What a big get to have on the card.
Who's the better heel, McIntyre or Gunther?
McIntyre is more cerebral.
Indeed.
Walter is more physical. He's more braggadocious in the sense that I'm good, I'm better, you can't beat me. As I've said before, he's literally Stan Hansen and Kurt Angle rolled up into one. And with McIntyre, he knows how to get under your skin. There was a quote that somebody made years and years ago about Tully Blanchard being the most hated horseman because I think Dusty Rhodes said it. He's that little fart that gets under your skin at the various times. That's what Drew McIntyre does. But yet he does it with truth. And that's what makes his heel promos that much more relatable. They're better because of it.
And also, if they do the three-way, now I don't know who you're going to beat. Are you beating Punk or Breaker? Because Gunther, based on what we talked about, him retiring Cena and anything else he may do going forward, has to win the title again. Has to.
Yes.
I agree. Well, we just have to wait and see what happens. I mean, we did think that maybe, come January 6th Raw, he does go ahead and interfere in the Punk Breaker match. If he does, what are the implications for Rumble? Maybe he does declare that he wants a title shot because he never got his rematch clause as champion. So maybe that goes ahead and, comes into play. Who knows? But we'll know come, 2 weeks from now at the January 6th Raw.
Yes.
With that being said, guys, of course, if this is your first time joining in, this is Saturday afternoon's main event. I had a phenomenal one. Alongside me is my co-host, the Peeps Nation. Down below us is our other co-host, the one and only.
Hi, guys.
Jeez. Only Chris, man. Only Chris. But
yes, TK Morton.
Oh, jeez. But from there, we move to the world of legends. And I think you guys noticed that I've been calling on Chris first before I call on Peeps because I feel like this one should go to Peeps because this is his guy, right? Let's talk about Ric Flair's cameo. You gotta end the year with a gripe, peeps. Come on, speak it out, talk about it. Look, well, from what we know, Ric Flair went ahead and had to answer a cameo to congratulate some fans on them getting married and a drunken Ric Flair. You gotta love Rick, man. You gotta love Slick Rick. Peeps.
I don't know why you want to get married because she's gonna take after yourself anyway.
You sound like a drunken Donald Trump.
You sound like Bill Cosby.
Well, you know, the crazy part about it is Flair literally sounded like that. Yeah. It's sad that somebody paid $600 to congratulate somebody for a cameo to just say, well, he's getting married. Here you go. Congratulations. And Flair could care less because he was so busy imbibing in the spirits as he usually does. And he's his own worst enemy when it comes to that. We know it's been almost 10 years since that hospital issue. And most of that was caused by his excessive drinking. And every story that I think we've done at least 5 or 6 stories this year with Flair, and they involved him getting drunk. You remember the pizzeria story that happened?
Yes.
We did that. The fan that he got into an argument with or something like that, he was drunk. The problem with Flair is that he cannot get out of his own celebrity long enough to see the forest for the trees. And what ends up happening is he gets drunk. He's on social media he gives these inspirational speeches about be a champ, do these things or whatever. The next thing you know, you see him and it's like he's drinking again. I don't understand it. It's sad.
How is his liver okay?
It can't be.
The fact that he even still has one.
That's what
shows you.
Me.
That is what it's. We've all known and heard about people that excessively drink, as far as like celebrities, athletes, etc. And then they talk about going into rehab, and then they try and. Flair, at almost 80 years old, he's not going to change.
Nate, somebody should pay Jay Lethal double the money to do a reenactment. How great would that be?
Have a drunken self-woo off, right?
Why did I think that Chris would say something of that matter when I came to going ahead and putting this topic in the group chat?
Yes.
Jay Lethal,
get out my head.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
It's just sad. It would be comical if this wasn't something that happened on a regular basis. But it's just sad. $600, and he couldn't even do the cameo without being drunk.
I mean, now I know not to charge $600 for Ric Flair to do a cameo for me. Hey, such is life, right?
Yeah.
But besides all that, we hope that Rick can just go ahead and just lay off the damn weed, lay off the damn alcohol, and stay away from social media. Although that seems like it's too easy for Ric Flair to not do. But
that's the 3 stages of hell right there.
Wait, nobody's liver is more black than Hot Rod 316.
Oh, wow!
Only Mr. 411. Oh, jeez. But we're gonna move to the next piece of news here. We're talking AEW. Danhausen, guys. There might be a chance that he goes to WWE. Hey, look, if everybody's hopping on the train, why not Danhausen? Peeps, we'll start with you. How do you feel about this? Do you think that there's a good chance that Danhausen goes once his contract expires with AEW?
Well, we know Danhausen, one of his best friends is CM Punk. And Indeed. They've done videos and TikToks before, and you've seen them at the restaurant eating donuts and talking, etc. Danhausen, I think his character and what he is fits better in WWE than it would in AEW.
Modern day Doink the Clown.
To some degree, yeah. And he has a personality, and you can see him popping up in a vignette or in a promo, somebody doing a promo backstage, and then him just popping in out of nowhere and cursing somebody. You can see that happening on WWE TV. And it would actually fit in with the wacky cast of characters that WWE has on their employ. So to see that happen, I can see that working on some level, and we'll see where they go from there. But as I said before, we've seen since Cody came into the company, the shepherding of AEW stars that looked at how the WWE treated Cody to see if that was going to be a harbinger for how other AEW talent would be welcomed if they were to leave and go to WWE. And we've seen that with Ricky Saints. We've seen that obviously with Cody. We've seen that with Jade Cargill. We've seen that with some of these stars that are going in there. And Danhausen could be the next one to go. He could be the next contestant.
Now, I did hear recently, I don't know if he was on some podcast or whatever, he talked about how long he's been at home doing nothing. And a lot of people have been voicing their displeasure about Tony Khan just not using people sitting at home. So this clearly plays a role in this. I just thought of a great segment. A returning Jericho puts Danhausen on the list. Think about that segment for a second.
That would be good. That would be really good. That would be really good.
You know how I feel about painted face wrestlers, Danhausen?
Yes.
Guess what? You just made the list.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yes.
Danhausen just hits the, you know, like, for God's sake.
And he does that while he has the pain maker paint on his face, right?
And then what's next? What's next? Truth comes down to the ring and tells Jericho to stop doing that, and he has the pain maker face paint too.
Oh,
jeez, I can only imagine. Probably, right? But look, from there, this marks the end of Three Rope Talk. Guys, look, we always go ahead and talk about this. We always tell you this. Of course, this marks the end of Three Rope Talk for the duration of 2025. But that doesn't mean it marks the end of us having discussions about professional wrestling. So if you want to catch up on all the latest social media news and updates when it comes to the world of pro wrestling, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. Follow us on our social media platforms. Instagram being at Saturday Afternoons _ main event, Twitter being Saturday Main, and of course TikTok, where we go ahead and also post good memes for your enjoyment, would be at Saturday Afternoons ME. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the next part of our show here, where we go ahead and talk predictions. And when I say predictions, I mean one thing and one thing only. AEW World's End predictions. Jeez, last pay-per-view of the year, right?
Yo, how about a prediction? Yo, phenomenal one. When will it end? World's End.
You know what? People have been saying, people said 2012. I would forget I was a kid in elementary and I really thought that the world was ending in 2012. I don't know what's next, man. 2020. I genuinely thought it was going to happen then, but hey, who knows? Probably when Peeps goes ahead and actually cuts all of his hair. I think that's the right timing. Yo, the minute I see Peeps bald, forget it. We're over, guys. We are over. But to get back into reality for a good second here, let's go ahead and talk these predictions. We have an 8-match main card, and then of course 2 pre-show matches. But it is what it is. But look, when it comes down to it, let's go ahead and start off with the who calls it this, man? I'm just gonna say Eminem, okay? Because Tony Khan really had to be snorting coke when he called this thing the Mixed Nuts Mayhem. What the? I digress. But
there you go.
Of course, the Death Riders, Claudio, Garcia, Wheeler, and Marina versus Roderick Strong, Timeless Tony Storm, and the conglomeration between Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe.
Nuts. Exactly that. Nuts.
That's right. Nuts. But give me.
This is probably one match. And the funny thing about it is Tony Storm has had so many strong matches during the year, and they're going to end the year with her in a match like this.
Talk about it.
Oh, that's weird.
Talk about it.
Give me Tony Storm's team. I don't.
Wait, guys, shouldn't we work our way from 10 down to 1? Because I see right now we're on 3.
Well, pretty much, again, I said pre-show matches, so I skipped the pre-show matches.
I'm sorry. I missed that part.
Yeah, so I really don't. Come on, do we really count the pre-show matches when it comes down to this?
Right.
We watch the main card, but you know what? Yeah, give me Roderick Strong, Tony Storm, and the conglomeration to win. I digress.
Don't care.
What is that? Second one of the day? You don't care.
That is actually the fourth. That's the fourth.
No, Uncle Triple C is not even watching right now.
Yeah, he's dimming the lights, man. I know. It's okay. But I know a match that we can care about. The Continental Classic semifinals.
Yes.
Of course, Kaz Okada versus Takeshita. Two men that are a part of the Don Callis family. And of course, if Okada loses, he will vacate both the AEW Continental Championship and the AEW Unified title, guaranteeing a new Continental Champion in the final.
So busy.
So, look.
The concept of that still doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
That was the whole point of unifying the belts in the first place.
Exactly.
You know?
So if he unifies the title, so what happens to the international title? Does it just like
I guess he's still the. You see, this is what we were talking about. You know, this works if it was just if they said the Continental Classic determines who the unified champion was. That would make sense. Not to break pieces of that championship off and have it that way. That doesn't make any sense.
Yo, Nate, I think we should add Godzilla to it for a 3-way. and then we you know what would it be called? The Pearl Harbor Death Match.
Oh Lord.
If that's the case, can we just add Jet Li? I feel like that would have made it a better match. Like, come on now. But look, jokes aside, give me Takeshita.
You got Takeshita?
Takeshita has to win. He has to win. No. Listen, everyone has lost their mind, and I know the select few who still worship Okada in the ground he walks. But let's be fair, his work isn't what it was. He's slowing down. He barely wrestles anymore. His matches, he's being carried by other people at this point. Let's be honest. He is not doing much in his matches. Everyone's doing all the work. This is not Okada from 5 years ago or 7 years ago. Takeshita is by far the better worker now and deserves this match. That's it.
Yeah. And I will agree with that in the sense that Takeshita right now being IWGP champion, it would make the most sense for him to win this. I'm sure that they're going to have a rematch. I was under the impression that these two were going to meet at some point, maybe at Wrestle Kingdom. They try and put them on loan and have them wrestle over and for Wrestle Kingdom. But we're going to have that match tonight. This should be the match that steals the show. I think it should be a really good match, and I think Takeshita is going to win this match.
I agree. We had that other match in the semifinal, Fletcher Moxley.
Let's pray. Let's pray.
Give me Kyle Fletcher.
Let us pray that Fletcher wins this match.
How many times will Fletcher or Moxley be dropped in their head in this match?
What's the over under? Give me I'll say the line is 4.5.
No, that's a lot. That's high though. That's high.
I mean, it's Moxley. It's Mox.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, we definitely know somebody's going to be bleeding.
Okay, wait. Yeah, under 5 or over 5 minutes? Blood in under 5 minutes or over?
Blood within the first 3 minutes.
Okay.
I think it'll be within the first 3 minutes.
I
want Fletcher to win this match because Fletcher, Takeshita, I would love to see that as the final. I would love to see that as the final. And that match would definitely be a match of the year candidate if they are able to get that type of match the right way.
100% agreed. But here's a question. I'm sorry. How many matches has Moxley lost in a row now? How many
Yeah. It's been a while. I believe.
Wait.
He lost to Claudio in the tournament.
Who did he beat just now to get to this position?
Was it?
Or is this? What's that? Oh, so
was it?
All right. You know what? I forget there's a tournament and he actually has won a match or two in this tournament. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
So look, here's the real thing though, and here's the real kicker. Not a final. If we're going with Fletcher and Takeshita, who's walking out? In my favor, I'm going to say Konosuke Takeshita wins the Continental Classic this year.
He should.
He's already won the G1 Climax. He's IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Look, put a rocket on this man and strap him to the moon. I mean, forget it. Takeshita for the win.
Yes, and then you tease Fletcher going after him for that championship. Remember, Fletcher is still TNT champ. He still has to defend that championship. As long as they are confident in the fact that he's going to be at the top of the card deep into next year, I think that they can book that down the road, and that would be a match that you can build on. So I think, yes, Fletcher versus Takeshita should win.
I agree. Well, look, from there, we'll move towards this singles match, Gabe Kidd versus Darby Allin. Who catches the pin here? Look, I'm saying Darby Allin for the win.
Allin wins.
Win, but I think there'll be a spot where Gabe Kidd almost kills Darby Allin. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
Ridiculous spot.
Yes. It'll probably have something to do with steps because they're going to brawl into the crowd. They're going to brawl toward the back. Something really big is going to happen as far as, like you said, a big violent spot. There's going to be blood in this match. Darby is going to do something that's going to question why he's even able to walk. And Allin is going to still be able to come out and win.
I agree. Look, Chicago Street Fight for the AEW World Tag Team titles. The Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn against FTR. Give me FTR.
Yeah.
I mean, could somebody come back to help to win this match? Could one of the other partners that are not, both guys are hurt, right? In terms of Jay White and the other
yes.
Gunn is hurt.
Unless Jay White shows up, like you were saying, if Jay White shows up in a surprise to help the Bang Bang Gang come back, I can see that. But in general, FTR should not lose this match. And matter of fact, they shouldn't lose these championships for quite some time. They are, without question, the best team in that company. And
question. How long has Ace Austin been in left TNA for AEW? How long has he been there for?
Almost 2 months now. It's been about 2 months. Has
he done anything? Has he been in a match?
He's been in 2 matches. I saw one match that he had on Collision, and then there was a match that he had on Dynamite about a month ago. So his day, it's like what AEW has done with guys that have debuted. He debuted his first match and lost. So I don't understand.
Nothing makes sense.
Yeah, but let's hope that this is the beginning of something positive. But as far as this match goes, FTR should win this match. It should be a very good match because we know that these two teams have had great matches just a couple years ago with Juice Robinson and Jay White against FTR, which was my match of the year. Then we can see some really good stuff in this match.
Oh, let's talk about the next match. Dildo on a pole match.
Oh, good grief.
Babes of Wrath. Monet Athena. Let's go. Who do you got?
Do I have
Babes of Wrath? I think Babes of Wrath will win this match.
I agree. Continue the losing streak for Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, and then I think you can see infighting between Athena and Mercedes. So who blames who? And unfortunately, I would not be surprised if Athena took the pinfall in this one.
Hasn't Monet lost multiple of her independent titles over the last few weeks?
I believe so. I haven't seen her.
She lost at least 2, if not 3 titles already.
Yeah, and including the Ring of Honor World TV title, I believe she lost that match.
Yes.
So, yes. So I believe if they're going to start to build her towards the AEW Women's World title, she's got to start losing these matches and losing belts. And this is maybe the start of the swoon that gets them there.
So listen, Phenomenal One, Nate and I, along with your uncle, will be at Dave & Buster's tonight watching the show. And I just want you to know, Nate, during this particular match, if I happen to go into a dark corner and just by myself, just look the other way, okay, during this match. You don't want to see what I'm doing.
Duly noted. Good grief.
The reaction up top is the best.
I digress.
10th match, digress over nothing. How did you digress? You didn't say words. You can't just say I digress.
I digress. Look. Statlander and Hayter, Women's World title. Give me Statlander to retain.
Yeah, Hayter is. What is she now? What is Hayter? Remember when she was on top of the world? Oh my god.
Yes. That was a short 2 years ago.
Now and she looks like a Patch doll.
She almost looks like she came out of a 1970s detective show.
It's so weird.
With the blonde, with the blown out hair and the plaid and everything else. So I don't know. I think what they're going for is trying to build up Statlander in the eyes as far as opponents. She's not going to lose this belt anytime soon.
Now, the last match, 4-way for the AEW World Title. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, and then the returning Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
Let's do it together, guys. Ready? Lazy booking. Lazy booking. I mean, come on. They just put this together to put it together.
Now, it makes sense because let's keep it $150 here. Look at the champion and look at the last contestant that's listed on this match. MJF lost the title at World's End exactly 2 years ago to Samoa Joe. He's never gotten that shot back to defeat Joe. And on top of that, he has history with Hangman. And now the odd part out is Swerve Strickland. Although Swerve has history with Joe and Hangman. So genuinely sitting here looking at all of this, there is a sense of intrigue for this match.
Yes.
The question is, who walks out champion? Would I be insane if I went out on a limb here and said that MJF won this match?
No. It's Tony Khan. Anybody could win this match.
Yeah. It wouldn't even be out on a limb to see Joe retain.
Right.
And the reason why that would make sense is because everybody is worrying about MJF screwing them over. Joe could just come in and say, choke somebody out, or he could just roll somebody up after something nefarious happens within the match. And Joe can walk out and say, I told you I was going to beat everybody right now. Makes sense. And in this environment, I don't see Page winning the belt back.
No.
That's not going to happen, and nor should it happen.
Right.
Swerve, if he's going to win the belt, it would have to be later on next year. I can't see it in this event. MJF makes sense only because of the fact that he's using that championship clause that he had been holding on to and would work in that sense. But Joe winning after all of this, to me, makes sense. And that's who I'm picking to win this match. And I thought about it. I went back and forth. I was like, you know what? Joe coming out on top, that does make sense to me.
Okay. So
I like that.
Joe. All right, then. So you know what? I'll go ahead and side with Samoa Joe retaining the AEW World Title. But that marks the end of our World's End predictions. Peeps, to end the first half, pretty much, what is the ratings? Just give us the ratings, my friend.
I will give you the only rating that I can give you because of the holidays. AEW nor NXT's ratings went up yet. So SmackDown's ratings. I want you to listen to this. Remember
from last week, not last night.
No, from the 19th, from last week.
Okay.
Think about this. Remember we talked about how the ratings for SmackDown were very, very low about 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, yes. 1.1.
They did 995,000 people viewing with a 0.21 in
and that's coming off of 1.3 though, right, Nate? Didn't you say
yes.
1.3 million?
1.3 was the highest that they did. They last week, the week before that, they did a 1.2, which was the highest that they had done since they did a 1.3 in September. So, wow, SmackDown.
Wait. Dropped. So is this the first time they've done under 1 million for a live show? I want to say yes, because everything is late or something, right?
Actually, yes. Because no. They did on their Halloween show was 933,000. So
wow. So
yes. So that's the second sub-million number that they've done.
It's crazy.
Which is insane. Who would have thought SmackDown being as strong a show as it is? And remember, folks, they're going to 3 hours. So let's see what they do going forward.
The good news for them is, at least right now, we don't have the quarter-hour breakdowns anymore. So I'm telling you, whatever that number may end up being, whether it's 900, 950, that third hour could be scary for a number. Like that number could be hitting 600. We could be getting AEW numbers for the third hour of SmackDown.
Yeesh, that's crazy.
Point. And let's hope that's not the case. If they can keep the show fresh throughout those 3 hours, then hopefully we're looking for something good.
it was a slog to watch SmackDown in certain instances when you would look and you're like, okay, they would dedicate certain time periods, like the second hour was just pure wrestling, where you would have two really good matches within that hour. And then you have the filler, the promos, etc., and some things that
I have to
didn't
ask,
make much
though.
sense.
Wasn't it a taped show?
I believe the SmackDown.
No, 2 weeks ago was not taped.
2 weeks ago wasn't. Last week's was.
Last
yes,
night.
the one that came on, that was taped.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Got you. Well,
yes.
Which is scary, by the way. Last night's show, now when we get that number, that might be under 1 million also then.
Yes. Oh,
good grief.
Yeah.
Talk about it. But look, that marks the end of the ratings, peeps. Thank you for that. Look, we're going to go ahead and get into our question of the week and our last question of the year. Guys, I'll go ahead and save what I have to say after. But this question goes lastly to Long Island Isaiah. He says, what are your professional wrestling predictions for 2026? I mean, we already spoke about one of them, Drew McIntyre possibly being WWE champion. Give me Cody versus Roman in the main event of WrestleMania, with Roman being the one walking in after winning the Royal Rumble. And the woman who I have winning the Rumble is Bianca Belair. I'm putting that prediction out. Dominic Mysterio to win Mr. Money in the Bank. Yes, I said it. Mm-hmm. This man is going to be a world champion before the end of 2026. I'm calling it now. And Ethan Page to be on the main roster. Those are my predictions. Chris, how about yourself?
I'm thinking, Nate, what do you got?
Well, one of the things that I was thinking about in looking at the way that the WWE and the way that they're booking, hopefully we won't have too many more of these 3-hour, 4-hour shows, etc. So let's see how SmackDown does next year. I don't know what the breakdown is for some of the shows that they do, and for like Saturday night's main event or whatever is the case. I kind of wonder what their booking will be going forward as far as who's going to be their world champion, what's going to happen. Can I see somebody like Ricky Saints going to the main roster and potentially winning a major championship on like Raw or SmackDown? That's something that can definitely work. I thought of one scenario that I thought that Ricky Saints would probably be one of those people that would be part of the division. I thought that would make a little bit of sense. I believe Kyle Fletcher next year will be main eventing one of those major pay-per-views in AEW. And if you told me that he could potentially be AEW world champion by the end of next year, there's a prediction. I think that they're grooming him in a way that, if, as Chris, and we've talked about this before, Chris has brought up how certain things about him are great, but he needs to clean up certain things about his in-ring repertoire and some of the work rate, some of that gets cleaned up. But I think that they're kind of gearing him, especially since Will Ospreay is still recovering and was the face of the company. I can see Kyle Fletcher being AEW world champion. That's the main one that I will throw out there as far as a prediction.
We potentially have new viewers all the time, so just in terms of what we want Kyle Fletcher to clean up for those first watching is the psychology aspect of the dropping people on their neck and then not letting it marinate, or not going for a pin, or not the little things like where a guy is up 30 seconds later after he drops them on their neck, whether it be a chair or the stairs, and how many times he does drop somebody on their neck, and just the safety of his matches. We talk about that with Ospreay also, and guys just constantly being on the shelf. And I think the fan base would rather them be there in the ring, despite the sickos and how much people want to risk their lives for these people. You'd rather see them there than not there.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and what you want to? Okay, so my friend brought this up yesterday or the day before, and I don't know if he took this off the internet, because I haven't been reading lately what the potential storyline could be going forward with the return of Seth Rollins. He said, what if Seth Rollins sent Austin Theory to be with the Vision, and then only to turn on the Vision when Seth Rollins returns because of their history? At one point, I guess he was mentoring Austin Theory, which I don't remember, but someone said that happened. And then down the road, we could get Punk, Theory, and Rollins against the Vision in a big match.
Okay, that makes sense.
What do you guys think about that?
That actually does make pretty good sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I like that. Genuinely, I like that. I like that. You know what? I'll tagline that in for next year. Because genuinely, again, like it goes in with everything that I've been saying lately about, you know, possibly like Theory being a mole for Rollins, being that he was a messiah in Seth's early discipleship, you know, during the pandemic era. It would make sense for him to be a mole. It would make sense for him to tear up the Vision. But I didn't think about that though, Chris. So you know what? I'll keep that in the tagline.
I'll give you one more from WWE. I think by the end of the year, I think Montez Ford is going to have a huge singles push. I think the idea behind the Street Profits has, I think, run its course. And I think that in how we spitballed a couple of weeks ago about how if the storyline that would bring Jericho in was the idea of having Theory and somebody else there with them as the masked man, and then the other one you have a second masked man, and it would have been Montez Ford, and then that could have been the case. I can see something down the road, especially knowing Bianca Belair and Montez Ford are married. We know that Bianca has had huge pushes in the company. As a matter of fact, she's main evented WrestleMania. I think this is going to be the time where they showcase Montez to the extent that he takes the place of where Jey Uso was this year. I think that's the one that we have to watch for next year.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I'll just say I think Javon Evans is closer to that spot right now than Montez Ford will ever be. Not to mention Carmelo Hayes, and then we got Trick coming in now. And don't forget, this is TKO, WWE, Triple H. How many black people are they going to push?
Good grief. The WWE. Yes.
I hate you guys and I love you guys at the same time. You can't make this up. But Long Island Isaiah, thank you for that question.
Yes.
Guys, that marks the end of questions for the year. Next year, we look forward to having your question up for the question of the week. And if you want to be one of those individuals, of course, all you got to do is one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday_main event. Send in the question. And if you think it's good enough, and if we think it's good enough, in the words of the Wrestling God, WWE Hall of Famer JBL, I guarantee we'll be on the next episode of the show. With that being said, we've gotten to the last part of our show for today. We're going to skim through this, but it is our same year-end awards for this year. Look, ain't nothing better than to be sitting there and giving our awards to what we think were the good moments and the good people that made 2025 a great year for professional wrestling. So we're going to go ahead and start with our moment of the year. What was the moment of the year, gentlemen? For me, I have to say that John Cena turning heel was the moment that made 2025 something memorable for the world of professional wrestling. Peeps, how do you feel?
That's the same one that I have. I went between either Cena's turn or Cena tapping to end his career. But I think that the Cena turn was more impactful in the sense that nobody saw it coming, no matter how many people say they did.
I agree, Chris.
I'm trying to be fair to the other company as I'm thinking about something memorable there, but it's hard to ever say they do anything memorable. So,
oh, jeez.
So I think I have to echo that sentiment. I think just the Cena turn, because we did not see it coming. Mm-hmm. It was so well done until they, of course, ruined it. But it was in that moment, it was great.
Yes.
Okay, I agree. Other people beg the difference. Corey Richmond, he says the Naomi heel turn. That's another good one.
Yes.
Genuinely, that's another good one.
Yes.
That's another good one. I have to agree on that.
Yes. Proceed with caution.
Caution, indeed.
And yes. She had to get knocked up and ruin her push like Becky Lynch.
Trying to tell her husband to proceed with caution too.
Tell Jimmy to proceed with caution, man. With the condoms. Good grief.
She has a mouth, doesn't she?
Uncle Triple C says Dominic Mysterio on my TV screen all the time is my moment of the year.
I bet you the screensaver on is the wallpaper on his phone too. I bet you.
It has to be, right? It just has to be. But look, that is our moment of the year. What is our match of the year? For me, I'm going to say, beyond anything else, any other match that I saw, I was out here debating between the Texas Death Match at All In. I was out here debating between the SummerSlam match between Cena and Cody. But to be completely honest, my match of the year is the triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Women's World Championship between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Yeah. I think I don't feel as if it's biased being that I was there, but I feel like being that the match itself carried from start to finish, the near falls, the reversals, the counters, and then Io Sky coming out on top at the end with the moonsault onto Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley just to win the match, and the feeling and the intensity of the crowd. For me, that was my match of the year. Chris?
Yeah, I had fun with that match as well. Again, thinking of the competition. According to the star rating, it would be Kyle Fletcher against Speedball Bailey. Then they just get 5.5 for a match on Dynamite.
I
take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, I think that's my match of the year. I went between that, the Bandito Takeshita match, the Ring of Honor. That was that match was so good. Yes. That was a great match, and Cena and Styles, which told a story. It was back and forth. It did well. Now you might not feel that way. I look at it from the sense that it told as much of a story between what they were doing, the dedication to all of the other wrestlers that were there, the moves that they were doing back and forth. I thought it was one of the best matches that I've seen, though, especially from those two this year. But that triple threat match was my match of the year. I've seen a ton of matches, a ton of wrestling this year. That triple threat match at WrestleMania, the reason why it worked is because nobody expected Io Sky to win. She was an afterthought. And the fact that she came in there and still won the match, that made the match. And the reaction of the fans. You know how some matches work because the fans are into it? We can go back to Rock versus Hogan and look at that match from WrestleMania and see the fans made the match better than it was. Yeah. This was one of those instances, but the match actually was great. So, yes.
I'm waiting for Corey Richmond to chime in with some match from Stardom that nobody knows the two participants.
Funny enough, he said Bandito versus Takeshita. Okay. That was his
I will not complain about that. That was
I am mad at that. I'm not mad at that. That was a great match. That was.
By the way, I wanted to ask Corey if he received my Hanukkah gift, the helmet that he's been needing, because I know when he gets around, he's very slow, and the helmet helps when he falls. Boy. And I know he also pulls on him. I got him a bib too. One of the days was a bib, so he pulls on him.
Oh, jeez, man. But he also said his other moment of the year was Stephanie telling fans to order with a VPN.
That was another. You know what? That's a good one. That's a good one.
She saved me hundreds of dollars. So you know what? Shout out to Steph.
There you go.
He also says thank you for the gift. But that was our match of the year. What was our feud of the year?
Punk Rollins. Yeah. And that match carried from the fact that Punk had just come off the feud that he had the year before with Drew McIntyre. This one folded in well, and the way it was built throughout the year, through WrestleMania, all of the things that happened, and Rollins was able to basically say, as long as I am here, Punk will never be champion. And every time he got a chance, he was there to ruin his life until he was able to right the ship, so to speak. And it worked. All of the side pieces that were there that were added that accentuated the storyline, and having AJ Lee and having Becky Lynch involved and having this really worked. And I think that more than any other feud that I'm thinking of right now, that feud did it for me.
Could you argue Cody and Drew being second, even though it's
yes, you can definitely argue that. Yes. Yes.
I mean, even though it's still ongoing and it's going into the next year, I still feel that Drew Cody can be a close second to that, and maybe even a first. I feel that they're doing the best work of their lives right now, and
Yes.
Drew by far. I thought that him and Punk prior was the best work that they were doing, but no, I was wrong. Drew continues to get better, and honestly, Drew's probably one of the best heels in the game right now, if not the best.
How about moment, not missed of the year, because it kind of happened sort of, but then it died, which is what could have been also feud of the year. AJ Lee, Becky Lynch. What happened?
Yes.
Yup.
Yes.
Yup. Because I was really looking forward to that. I was really looking forward to that. I was genuinely looking forward to that. But the fact that we don't get that, I think it probably continues come Royal Rumble time. I'm thinking that that's when it continues to accentuate. Although now it seems like we're still getting Becky and Maxine going at it against each other.
Oh, please. I'm sorry. I had written this down. Maxine Dupree, her promo on Raw. It was going well. Don't get me wrong. It was good for once. I was like, wow, Maxine Dupree promo. They wrote her some good stuff, and she delivered it well. Until the obligatory that everyone now is doing in every promo. MJF is the worst. Hangman is the worst. Blood, Sweat, and Moxley's another one. Please stop. Please stop. I can't hear blood, sweat, and tears another time. It makes me cringe. Anyone else?
So it's the cliche that's like nails on a blackboard for you.
Please stop it. Everyone can't say it.
Yeah, I agree. Corey says feud of the year for him had to be MJF Mystico.
It was a big deal. Yeah,
it was a big deal. To main event Studio Arena Mexico. Yeah, right. That was a huge deal.
Not Studio 54, Nate, where we go.
No, Peeps, you're old, man. You're old. That shit's been closed for years, decades. Jeez, Peeps. I was swimming in a nutsack, for God's sakes. What are we doing here, Yo, put down the iced tea. They must have put your medication in there. Good God. Studio 54. Holy hell. Yo, Vince Senior was swimming in Studio 54, Peeps.
That's right. Nate's just gonna serve us pancakes after the show.
Would it be his world famous eggnog pancakes? Okay, guys.
Yes. There you go. There you go.
Let's not get started, guys. But that would be our feud of the year. Now, when it comes down to it, we have one and one more only. Our men's and women's wrestlers of the year. On the men's side, who do we have? Peeps?
I'm between Cody and Walter. And Walter has had some really good matches. He just hasn't had the volume of matches that we're used to seeing. Cody, based on what he's done this year, coming off the feud with Cena and all of the other matches that he's had. Female wrestler of the year for me is Stephanie Vaquer. I think Stephanie has had the biggest impact as far as the matches that she's had, the work rate, and the importance of her matches. Now, that's not to dispute for a lot of people who would think, well, why not Mercedes Moné? The reason why is because even though she has won a lot of championships, as I have said before, and I will continue to reiterate this, AEW has done a piss poor job making those championships mean something. When she goes out there and she goes to a particular promotion and they show her winning a championship or competing in the main event of a show for a championship or defending a championship, they do not do a great job of promoting why you should care. And that's the difference. But Stephanie Vaquer on the other side of that, coming in from NXT and winning the championship and having the matches that she's been having and has not missed a beat.
Okay, Chris, how about you?
I don't know. I'm torn. I can't. I mean, I would lean with Nate on Walter. Women, I agree with both of his. I mean, if it's not Stephanie, it would be Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really like Not sure at the moment. What do you got?
Well, the Triple C says Dominic is the male wrestler of the year. He's carrying 2 promotions.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He is not wrong. But, okay, when it comes down to me, my men's wrestler of the year was between 3 individuals. I said my male wrestler of the year is between Punk, Hangman Adam Page, and Takeshita. And I had soluble reasons as to why each one could have been male wrestler of the year. But as I sit there and I look back and I'm thinking, it comes down to the volume of matches and it comes down to the soluble fact of the storyline. And as I look back at my whole year and I look back at every single individual that touched the main event scene, that went ahead and had a high profile match, that went ahead and was in a high profile storyline, it was none other than Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes is my male wrestler of the year due to the look from the beginning till the end. Royal Rumble, he didn't have a match at Chamber, but the beginning of a storyline ensued there. And right into WrestleMania, since losing it, he comes back a month later, begins to rebuild, and he's been on top since SummerSlam. So I can't sit there and I can't tell you that Cody Rhodes wasn't mine. So Cody Rhodes is my male wrestler of the year. When it comes down to my women's wrestler of the year, easily without said, I agree with La Primera, in the words of Booker T. Yeah. You know, so look, I'm not mad at that. But for me, when it comes down to women's wrestlers, I look at the other individual and I look at Toni Storm. For me, Toni Storm was my women's wrestler of the year.
Can't complain about that.
I want to add a category here. The non-binary / LGBTQ wrestler of the year. Drum roll, please. Hangman Adam Page.
Yo, Chris, I hate you.
Did you see how quick I got rid of that water?
Oh my gosh. No, he did not. Chris.
Oh, good grief. Yeah.
Chris, I love you, man. Yeah, I love you. Yo, Chris, I love you, brother.
I'll digress for you.
Yeah, thank you, Peeps. Why, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. But so look.
That's 189 for the year. Since this is our last show of the year. That's 189 I digresses for the year.
You know what? I hate an odd number. I digress. 190. There we go.
There we go.
I digress at the I digressing, okay?
Yes.
Look, but with that being said, that marks the end of our year-end awards. And that, my friends, listeners, fans of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event, this marks the end of the last episode of the year. Before I thank you guys, I want to go ahead and thank the individuals that are in front of me right now talking to me. Peeps, Mr. 411, yo, you guys been here throughout the year. Chris, I understand the sick days. I understand the moments where, it's been hard. And even through certain sick days, you still power through to go ahead and show up here to bring forth laughs. So, Chris, look, you're a real big part of this show. And I appreciate you for all the input, all of the feedback, all of the advice, all of, again, the joking, because good grief. The Lord knows that we sometimes need a joke or two to carry through to this show. Because sometimes that hour can feel long. But, man, you always bring it. And for that, I appreciate you, man, and I thank you. Peeps! Comrade! Listen, you can take a sip of the water because I don't think Chris is going to say anything experimental. But the reality is, look, you've been my co-host for the last couple of years, and you never go ahead and sit there and say, yo, Rich, I can't do this no more, man. You never go ahead and sit there and say that to me. You always sit there and you're like, Rich, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Or what do you think about this? And, it's always like we sit there week in and week out, always on the phone almost every other day, planning the show or talking about something wrestling related. And I remember you said something a couple of months ago, or a couple of weeks, I should say, where you said that, yo, I'm your spirit animal. Well, guess what? Vice versa, brother. You're literally everything that I would encapsulate in my mind as a diehard wrestling encyclopedic type fan. And beyond all, I get to call you a friend. I get to call you a brother in arm. So genuinely, again, peeps, I thank you. To of course, Corey, who always gives the input on the show and has been on the show previously and throughout this year. You were another big part, because again, you know what? In the words of MJF saying that he's the people's scumbag, you're our shill, okay? So look, beyond all, you always add the contrast to the show to bring forth another set of energy, another set of thought, another set of thinking. And even when you do it in the comments, we appreciate it. We thank you, because again, that adds intrigue, that adds dialogue, that adds conversation. So for that, I thank you. But of course, we have one more name to go ahead and, thank extra mentally. That always has a big hand in producing this show. The Triple C, the man who calls Dominic Mysterio his boy, because beyond everything else, you're our boy. And beyond anything else, this was your baby before it was transferred over to me. And beyond all, look, we thank you for being, a set of head to be like, you know what? I'm actually going to do this show, because prior to your history, you always told me that, Peeps and Mr. 401 will go ahead and beg you, let's start a wrestling show. And you always said no to it. And lo and behold, here we are 20 plus years later, going ahead and actually still letting this thing run even after a reiteration. So beyond all, you go ahead and help us with the input. Certain days after an episode, we sit there and ask you, how did you feel about it? And you give us your input, because you don't only sit here and you don't only look at the show as a producer perspective. You look at it as a fan, and you're one of those fans who watches week in, week out. Even if you don't watch it live, you're gonna watch it immediately after, during the moments you have time. And again, your input matters so much.
Well, his candor matters also, because he tells us what sucks.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Absolutely. Yo, I love the collective criticism, though. That's always the reality behind it, But beyond all, Uncle Triple C, thank you. I don't have a drink near me. I don't have my Ciroc, or I should say my Diddy juice, so I can't drink that. But last but not least, I want to sit here and thank the fans. I want to thank the fans. Guys, you are just as big a part of this show as anybody else, because you are the ones that watch. You are the ones that repost our stuff. You are the ones that go ahead and like our stuff. You are the ones that go ahead and sit there and put our stuff on social media to say, oh, I like this, or oh, I like that. You're the ones that chime into the commentary. For that, I thank you. For that, I appreciate it. And I thank you so much. And I appreciate it.
Rich, you mentioned Diddy. You see what this is, right?
Is that baby oil? You son of a... You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding
wow.
me. To the fans, thank you. I think I need to go ahead and clear my mind real quick. This marks the end of Same. Guys, we'll see you in 2026. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Yes.
This was Same, where I, the phenomenal one.
The Peeps.
Mr. 411, let's get out of here.
Let's just get out of here, man. You know what? No. In honor of the previous Same, we showed up. We broadcast.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. This was Same. I'm the phenomenal one, Peeps Nate, Mr. 411. Peace, love, farewell. Chris, I can't. Extra.